MA, MED, MLHR, MA, PhD, the coordinators for Educational Research and Evaluation Study Program, Professor Dr. Edi Supriyadi MPD for the doctoral program, and Dr. Rizky Setiawan MPD for the master's program. Our distinguished speaker, Dr. David Hodges, dear lecturers, beloved students, and all participants joining us in this room, and more than 100 participants in the Zoom meeting. Good morning, and welcome to the Visiting Professor Program under the theme Practitioner Research, Bridging Theory and Practice in Educational Settings. This program is proudly hosted by the Doctoral Program in Educational Research and Evaluation, Graduate School of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, in collaboration with Dr. David Hodges from RMIT University, Australia. Before we begin, let us open this session with a prayer asking for smooth and meaningful activities throughout the day. For Muslims, let us recite Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. And to begin, we would like to invite the Vice Director for Academic, Student Research and Cooperation Affairs of the Graduate School, Professor Dian Kumalasari MPD, to kindly deliver the opening remarks and to officially open this Visiting Professor Program. Professor Dian Kumalasari, the floor is yours.
Ya, menguasai pendidikan.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Benar datang, iya ini.
Distinguished guest, Dr. David Hodges, Professor Honorable Professor Slamet, Coordinator Master Program, Dr. Rizky Setiawan, esteemed lecturers of Master and Bachelor Study Programs, dear doctoral students and master students, and ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to this special event, the Visiting Professor Program hosted by Doctoral Program in Education Research and Evaluation, Graduate School of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. Today's session with the theme Practitioner Research, Bridging Theory and Practice in Educational Settings is a significant step in enriching our academic environment, especially for master and doctoral students of our distance learning and on-campus programs. We are particularly delighted to welcome participants from the master's and doctoral program in educational evaluation and the doctoral program in distance learning education. We are deeply honored to have with us
Recording in progress.
An experienced educational specialist from the Melbourne Institute of Technology, Australia. Dr. Hodges is well known for his dedication to bridging the gap between theory and practice through practitioner-based research. His academic contributions emphasize the practical application of educational research, making him an invaluable guest in today's programs. This event has drawn wide interest. We are pleased to have a total of 232 doctoral students participating, comprising 163 online participants and 69 attending in-person or offline participants. As a graduate at School of UNY, we are committed to fostering a research culture that not only advance theoretical understanding but also directly contributes to the improvement and educational systems, both nationally and globally. This visiting professor program reflects our strong belief in international collaboration and interdisciplinary dialogue as key pillars of academic excellence. Dear students, this is a unique opportunity for you to engage, discuss, and deepen your understanding of practitioner research, while this requires both intellectual rigor and practical sensitivity. I encourage you to
Kalau
make the
timunku
most
udah
of
datang
this session,
kemarin pakainya,
ask questions,
tapi
share
yang
your
lain belum
experiences,
nyampe.
and build meaningful academic connection. Finally, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizing committee from the doctoral program in educational research and evaluation, and to all those who have worked behind the scene to make this event possible. Let's
Masuk
warmly
aja kita
welcome Dr.
nggak
Hodges
ikut, kalau
and
mau
begin
nebus
this
sertifikat 50.000
inspiring
nggak
journey
usah
of
bayar,
learning together.
nggak usah sertifikat.
Thank you.
Ini baru
Wassalamualaikum
pembukaan dari
warahmatullahi
UNI
wabarakatuh.
belum. Mau ikut nggak Budian? Aku kirim linknya ke Budian.
Dengan mengucap Bismillahirrahmanirrahim,
Iya,
maka
pakar
kegiatan
pendidikan
visiting
dari
profesor
Australia.
ini kita nyatakan dibuka. Selamat menikmati.
UNY, PEP, S3 PEP. Di situ ada S3
Thank you very much, Professor,
jurusan
for the warm
ini penelitian
and
dan evaluasi
inspiring welcome.
pendidikan. Nah, mereka
And
ngundang
before we
ini
move to the main
dari
session,
Australia.
let's take a moment to capture this
Iya,
gathering
ini
with a
dari
group
temanku
photo.
juga. Jadi
We
guru-guru
invite
se-Indonesia tuh
all
diundangin di
participants
Zoom.
to come forward to take a photo. And please, Professor Slamet and Dr. David and also Budia to join us in the photo session. And to all participants, please turn your cameras on as we are going to capture you through the Zoom meeting.
Justru kalau itu kuliah sudah buka pagi-pagi Bapak ramen itu.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Are you ready to take a photo? Yeah. Ya, peserta bisa di belakang narasumber, monggo.
Kalau di rumah cuma ada nasi putih gitu, saya biasa beli.
Selamat pagi Bapak Ibu, teman-teman yang bergabung melalui Zoom meeting, silakan dinyalakan kameranya, kita berfoto sebentar. Ya. Ini mau di capture nggak? Oh ya udah. Oke. Ya.
Oh iya, betul-betul. Oh enggak, hitam.
Ini bisa di 1, 2, 3. Oke, selanjutnya 1, 2, 3. Slide terusnya.
Oh, dipisah ya? Tempat saya itu nasi
1,
sama saya
2, 3.
jadi satu, itu yang buat bingung.
Oke. Baik, terima kasih. Silakan duduk kembali. Please have a seat.
Kayaknya banyak di wadah ya, sekali bungkusin segitu ya. 3 sendok.
Iya.
Oh Ibu Petri ada sepertinya kuahnya.
Sekat-sekat.
Saya kepada si peserta kepada.
Iya. Banyak. Gak apa-apa lah, ujungnya ini kuahnya pakai nasi.
Ini kalau di rumah cemplungin sawi.
Iya pasti tambah kubis. Aku kubis kadangan tambah sayur-sayur. Iya, soalnya banyak. Kalau Budian dia banyak cabai kita. Berarti.
Dipisah cabenya nih kan? Ada cabai, ada saus nih. Silakan. Kemarin dia nggak jualan nih? Iya kayaknya. Banyak juga ya, 10.000.
Iya.
Nih cabai.
Iya.
Pentol kan mahal, Bu.
Pentolnya
Pentol daging 2.000.
Yang lainnya 500. Makanya kita 10.000.
Makanya murah, kita beli pentolnya aja yang 20.000 dapat 40 biji itu, ya.
Iya.
Sayang banget, Mak.
Saya bertanya pertanyaan.
Wow, mendelep banyak kuahnya banyak.
Yeah, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the heart of today's agenda. And in this session, we are honored to have with us Professor PH, PhD, our senior lecturer and academic advisor, and also Dr. David Hodges, our invited speaker from RMIT Australia. And also, in this session, will be moderated by Dr. Umi Faricia, an outstanding alumni of the doctoral program who continues to contribute to educational research and practice. So, without further ado, I hand this session over to our moderator, Dr. Umi Faricia. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Mbak Ririn, for this opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this nice occasion. Very beneficial opportunity for us to gather here in this academic discussion in the program of visiting Professor Inbound with our distinguished speaker here next to me, Dr. David Hodges from Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, Australia, and will be assisted by our senior lecturer from Slamet PhD in this, till the end, till the drop of this program. Okay, without any further ado, I would like to give some information or let you more recognize about our speaker today. Okay, welcoming our distinguished speaker, Dr. David Hodges. So, he is a foreigner because he's coming from Australia, but he's born Indonesia. Because if I read from his CV, he has so many contributions to our Indonesian and especially educational field to be an advisor. Is that right, sir? Okay. So next slide. Okay, so Dr. David Hodges is already part of experiences education leadership and cover academic in RMIT in Australia and specialist is in education management, research, and international political economy. Okay, the next one is this is his academic qualification, graduated from in education for his PhD from RMIT University, MA International Studies in Melbourne. So you spent all your study time in Australia? Yes, okay. You are so proud of your country. Okay. And this is a fun fact. This is not his first coming to Indonesia, right? Okay. Okay, 30 years ago. Okay, that is your microphone. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. So 30 years ago, he came here to Indonesia, and surprisingly, when you come here again, it is so much different, right? Yes. Okay. But mention me one thing that's still the same from Indonesia, especially Yogyakarta. Sorry? Mention me one the same thing you found when the first time you coming here and this time you come here again. Well, the Indonesian people are very funny. They do jalan-jalan. Hello, Mister. That picture. The same, because they do to the yang dulu and now. Okay. So you can ask a friendly. Yeah, all friendly. Yeah. Okay, including me. Including especially. Okay, thank you very much. Next slide, Mas Azam.
Okay, so this, as I told you that he is a foreigner, but he is not foreign to Indonesia because in 2004 up to 2019, he's becoming Indonesian advisor in Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture and team leader for GF8, okay, in Myanmar, and the winner of for Samuel Sanders, okay, and also project leader at Unicenter in English. Okay, the next slide. Okay, this is his words. So now, if you are not wasting your time by coming here, but you are coming here to get very valuable insight, experiences, and also knowledge from our distinguished teacher. And this is based on his award too from RIMT Research and Teaching Award, International Practice in Leadership, and also excellent in postgraduate research supervision. Okay, Mas Adam? Okay, global work experience. So Indonesia is not the only one country that Dr. David has already visited and worked, but some other countries that you have already contributed, sir. Okay, Australia, of course, Singapore, China, Laos, okay, Portugal, Thailand, and others. Okay, next one. Okay, he also committed in community engagement in Australia for global parent. Okay, I haven't seen. We talk about parenting. Yes, okay. We talk about some other household chores like that. Okay, so it is very nice to have a chat with you, have conversation with you, very lively. And also you are active in local Brunswick community development. Okay, was that it?
Yeah, Brunswick is where I live.
Oh, okay. Brunswick is the place where you live in Australia. Okay, this is a suburb or a big city.
A big city, no, that's it. Brunswick.
Okay. Okay. If in Australia you have Clayton, in here we have Clayton. Okay. Yeah, it's from South. It's in Clayton, right? Okay. And yeah, because he has been here for a long time ago. This is also maybe important for you to know that maybe some years ago, Mr. David also has been becoming a guest lecturer in University of Yogyakarta for 3 months. 3 months. Yeah, in India, right? In graduate school, 3 months. Okay, so
Beda,
that's why
walaupun
he
bumbunya
has
sama bumbu
English
kacang tapi beda.
bahasa the beginner.
I am a bad student.
Okay. Bad student. And little bit Italian because his wife is English, right? Okay, the next one. Okay, those are some information about our distinguished speakers. So we can wait to start our discussion. You can say this is discussion, right? Okay, because he will share everything he knows to you and please absorb everything good and can be applicable in your own area. Okay, please welcome Dr.
Kalau
David
nggak datang
Rodgers.
berarti Bu El fokus untuk UKBing besok.
But before that, okay, we have also special guest today of Slamet PhD will assist us, will accompany us during this session. Maybe for you who are not good in English, don't worry, because Prof. Slamet will try to be your connector. If you want to ask something, okay, just don't be reluctant to raise your hand and just say what you want to say, because next, Prof. Slamet will try to explain or maybe interpret when you have something not good comprehension like that, Prof. Okay. Without any further ado, please, before that, give one more applause for our two distinguished speakers. Okay, and I will give this floor to Dr. David and also Prof. Slamet. That is totally yours.
Selamat pagi semuanya adik-adik. Saya ini temannya Pak David Hodges lama. Meskipun jaraknya jauh, tapi kita tetap dekat berkomunikasi dengan Henry. Jadi pertemanan saya sejak tahun 2006. Ya. Jadi sejak tahun 2005 saya dulu pernah bolak-balik Australia dalam rangka untuk membimbing para sebagai pembimbing lokal Indonesia waktu itu untuk penelitian intensitasi
Kalau
mahasiswa.
minum putih gini Budian nggak terlalu suka.
Nah, pendeknya gini, oke. Pak David nanti akan membicarakan practitioner research
di kantor kita kan paling adanya ya itu
research
jus apa
based practitioner based research penting. Nah, nanti boleh bertanya dalam bahasa Inggris, tidak masalah. Saya terjemahkan dan nanti kalau beliaunya menjawab dalam bahasa Inggris juga saya terjemahkan karena ingin sekali penelitian yang disampaikan Pak David Hodges itu betul-betul memperbaiki Indonesia. Karena selama ini penelitian-penelitian dengan penelitian ilmiah, tetapi berapa persen disertasi itu dipakai oleh itu menjadi pertanyaan besar. Nah, beliaunya itu maunya penelitian-penelitian itu yang langsung memperbaiki. Ada yang meneliti tentang pendidikan dasar di dinas pendidikan, ya pendidikan dasar di dinas pendidikan lebih baik. Nah, kira-kira itu nanti detailnya akan disampaikan sekali lagi jangan sampai takut bertanya karena ciri orang itu adalah pinter. Di bahasa Indonesia kan masalah, tapi setelah sebaik mungkin pada di proses ini karena
dia dikreasikan
luar biasa internasional sejumlah negara
kreatif ya dikreasikan
melakukan
bisa dikreasikan
yang di sini
itu yang
maupun yang di luar
itu bisa
kelasnya yang daring ya, saya ingin sekali yang daring karena ratusan lebih, tolonglah apa-apa yang sekiranya bermanfaat bagi dirimu nanti silahkan bertanya kepada David Hodges. Sekali lagi beliaunya akan menyampaikan practitioner research research by project, istilahnya macam-macam, tetapi inti bagaimana penelitian itu memperbaiki tempat yang kamu teliti. Yang kedua ya peneliti sendiri juga akan lebih profesional karena peneliti yang disampaikan oleh beliaunya sebenarnya peneliti yang berasal dari tempat kejadian itu saja. Yang terakhir ya diharapkan penelitian sedang memperbaiki kebijakan, memperbaiki praktek-praktek yang ada, tapi juga berkontribusi terhadap pengembangan ilmu, tapi ilmu profesional bukan akademik. Nah itu beliaunya akan please David. I think time is always how long I'm going to speak up to you because we have a time roughly until a couple of years. Up to you. Okay. Everybody can tell. Even me. Okay. Please. Yeah, please. Please. Thank you, Pak Slamet. And thank you very much for long friendship. This is very important. I feel very honored to be here with you.
Tapi pas dikasih 15 soal salah semua, cuma bener doang, nggak bisa jawab structure. Coba kerja lagi soal ini, aduh bener atau salah masih info lagi tadi
I'm conscious that I am a visitor, a guest, and I should not be here to tell you what to do. But
tapi kalau itu pakai ABCD,
I'm happy to share some ideas with you, and you have the power to decide whether you wish to use those ideas or not.
lapangan PSP. aku tuh mencet di
The first
laptop
thing I think I should
Pak
say,
Yos lagi
I
di
always consider
podium
myself
satu
being a
lapangan
teacher
SD gitu,
and not
lagi
academic.
di acara
I started my career as a classroom teacher, and the classroom teacher is in education because the relationship between the teacher and the student is key to learning. So,
Saya langsung anget,
like a teacher, I will make a little change in the presentation. Let us start with 2 questions for you to participate and also for the people online. No, yeah, this is not on the slide. Okay. I would like every participant in the room and online to think about 2 challenges that are confronting Indonesian education. What are 2 you think are the most important challenges? Not money, not finance. We have no control over that. 2 challenges not connected with finance. And I would like you to write that down and ask you to share. So let's just take, this should be very quick. 2 challenges. Yeah. Maybe you can just keep your head. And then maybe we can get some participants. Alright? Yeah. And anybody in education should have no problems writing a 2 challenges down.
Oh, ini.
And then we ask them,
Buat tantangan pendidikan.
if you are comfortable, please respond in Bahasa. Yes. And English. Maybe I need to go down like when I teach the students in the university, I go down and ask directly.
Ada yang di Zoom, ada yang di Zoom. Ada yang ngecek.
Okay. I am going down. Yeah.
Two challenges for me maybe the client side, finance and people, and then the second is disparities.
nanti lupa lagi kena Farel.
Economic disparity in education.
No, our Indonesia because Indonesia have many culture.
Somebody else? Yeah.
I think 2 challenges in Indonesian education. First is the curriculum, and the curriculum always change and redefine, develop the previous curriculum without changing. So the evolution is not really
Itu
there.
kunci itu
And
bagian
second is
pembinaan aja
the
yang pegang.
professional teacher. So I actually was a teacher and I found that teacher in Indonesia that have equal how to say professional training. So some schools not really have the professional training, but some schools as well have. No, so it's about equal education.
Cuman kalau terlalu siang saya tuh
Maybe one more?
Iya, habis.
Hujan biasa
Okay, the biggest challenges that I faced when I was a teacher, the first one is students' motivation, and then the second one, teach competencies in getting along with the world development. Teachers' competencies. Yeah.
Iya ya, Punana sama Bu Petri udah gak ada ngerjain apa-apa ya. Ngerjain apa ini? Banyak revisi ya.
Okay. Now let's
Tetap
ask
revisi
a
dari
different
Bu Yayu
question.
sebanyak enggak ini.
What is the two biggest challenges
Ya mau
confronting
ya Bu ya, yang di Kadit itu
our
sebenarnya sih berat.
students?
Yang mintanya Bu Yayu dirombak habis
What
dari
are
bab
the
1
two
sampai
biggest
bab 6 ini
learning
setiap
issues
hari. Dia ngomong gitu, ngomel-ngomel ini, ngomel-ngomel ini. Jadi seiring berjalan dari revisi yang dari sebenarnya sesadis-sadisnya DKD masih lebih sadis. Masih susah lah sidang komisi. Ya makanya benar kata si Eka, kalau sidang akhir itu kita tinggal sadis lah di sidang komisi kalau aku. Kata-katain DC jadi segala macam itu kan sidang komisi.
Yes.
And the big challenge for the students is how they should adapt with the strategy of teacher. For example, one size fits all. How to say approach. So some teachers teach their students in the same way, while the students actually have different learning styles and how they can understand the subject. So instead of teach them in the best way for each learning style that they prefer to teach in the one size fits all. Yeah.
And somebody else?
Masak ini megang pisau kena pisau, megang api kena api. Api sudah terpotong-potong.
Okay, maybe from Zoom, the online conference, anyone who wants to share about our students facing their problem.
Roti aja kan kemarin banyak beli roka.
Is there any? You can raise your hand.
Jadi kalau lapar roti satu, nanti tidur tengah malam kebangun jam 1 lapar, mana Auka satu tidur, dari bangun lagi Auka, paling gitu aja Bu biasanya pakai.
Is there any? Okay, Camp Indonesia using Arema Dakut that to students until college. Okay, yeah, there are two participants are raising their hands. Okay, Bapak Satna Pagili and Ibu Untia Pasut. Okay, which one is the first? Please unmute Pak Satna. Unmute your microphone and
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Sorry, wait a moment, we cannot hear your voice. Wait.
Hello, could you hear me? Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think one of the challenges that students face today is.
I'm so sorry because we cannot hear your voice from the first. Could you please repeat it again from the first time? Okay. Ulangi lagi ya Pak, tadi yang pertama belum terdengar soundnya.
Halo, apa kedengaran?
Sekarang sudah terdengar Pak.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think one of the challenges that students have today in Indonesia about the contextual that they face. I mean, like a teacher needs to differentiate their approach in the teaching based on the context or situation that students have. And also, I think a teacher will start from the student strength, not from the deficit. I mean, student deficits.
Tapi kok belum profesor?
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Sandra Kofili.
Kayaknya udah
Okay, the next one, Ibu Kia.
Udah kah?
You may open your mic.
Profesor ya profesor.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think one of the challenges that Indonesian students facing today is the low level of literacy number. So I think this is our challenges because according to PISA score, these recent years that we always the bottom level of literacy number, not just literacy but also STEM and science. So probably this is related to the quality of teachers that we face today. Maybe because I don't know what's the problem, but how we can improve the quality of teachers so they can give impact to the students. I don't really see the case from the students. In my point of view is why students have showing that the literacy number or numeracy is low because the factor is comes from teachers. So maybe this is that we should raise together how to improve the teachers quality in Indonesia. I think that's all. Thank you.
Iya, tapi dia pas waktu banyak pilihan bab itu. Ada ini, ada hebat. Nah, kayak gitu bingung tesisnya kan harus masuk ke situ.
Okay, is there any other participants who wants to say something? No one is raising their hand, so it's enough from the online participant.
Thank you. Let us. I want to do that little exercise because we will come back to this question when moving further.
Nggak mau ngerjain sebenarnya karena nggak
So
ngerti.
let us now refer to the slide. So before we start talking about practitioner research, let us just remind ourselves of what is the purpose of a university. And in my view, there are a number of purposes that the university exists for. Educating students, they are generating new knowledge through research and scholarship. They share this knowledge, particularly with academic journals. And universities have a particular role in promoting cultural and intellectual values. They are institutes for culture and learning. Oh, sorry. Yeah. If somebody wants some clarification, one of the participants here will translate. Traditional university research has primarily been disciplinary with very clear boundaries and procedures. So we are in the part of evaluation. Evaluation. It's very clear. In the walls of the university, the boundaries are clear. But as we will see, when we go to a school or a district education office, the boundaries become very, very messy and not clear. We are then in a world of practice, and it is difficult. Next slide. Traditional traditional research is removed from the lived reality in some small village in Papua or in Blackman. It seems a long way away from the walls of university. Exactly the same in Australia. A long way removed the reality of teaching 15-year-olds in some country area. The research that happens in practice is applied. It's multidisciplinary, applied, and messy.
We can say surrounded, messy, berantakan. Is that right? Berantakan, not in a good order. Yeah. Okay, surrounded. The Japanese is surrounded.
Orang pada di fakultas mungkin banyak kerjaan akhir bulan.
Messy.
Soalnya di ujung bulan biasanya buat laporan-laporan gitu kan.
Practitioners or professional educators should always be interested in what are the needs of my students. How can I address their needs? I'm interested in how I improve my practice so that my students can learn, which is quite different from an academic university doing research on people. Professional practitioners are interested in doing research with people, with their colleagues or with their students. And that is, I think, more difficult than somebody who comes from science and does research on people.
Dan harus disetting grayscale full baru ini.
Ih, 14.000 aja. 14.000
Oh, 14 lembar, iya. Nanti ku tanya yang warna. Aku mau yang warna, kalau yang hitam kan murah kan 500.
What might be the objectives of practitioner research? Well, the first one, of course, is that the practitioner becomes more skilled and more knowledgeable. Traditional research is not interested really in a practitioner becoming more skilled. They're interested in the practitioner having more knowledge, but not so interested in practitioners, the skill level, the capacity of the practitioner. Practitioner research, like traditional research, is interested in generating knowledge. And we can divide that into two ways. One is professional knowledge. And professional knowledge is a little bit different to scholarly knowledge. Scholarly knowledge gets written into academic papers. Professional knowledge is used to distribute to other professionals.
Tapi dia pas kita masuk diperiksanya semuanya.
Iya, makanya itu.
Academic journals are not interested really in professional knowledge. They're interested in generating academic papers. And I'm not sure
Ambil
about
apa
the
setiap minggu
but in
datang
Australia now,
orang ini lagi
there is
orang ini
a
lagi
great
nggak
push
lulus gitu kan.
for academics in universities to generate more and more and more and
Yang
academic
lain tuh
papers.
udah 374 Bu, kalau saya masih 474.
But doing academic, doing generating
kurang
more
satu yang
papers
dia 474,
does it
kurang satu poin skor.
improve
Oh, saya
the
kan masih
lives
jauh,
of
430,
students in
475,
schools.
masih kurang 45 lagi.
And
30.
in my view, the answer, and I can see some people laughing here,
itu
which
cacing ini pasti
which
coba.
makes me think they may be,
Sening
I
sama
agree
ini
with
kan
them,
itu juga
or
soalnya.
they agree with me.
Sampai hafal readingnya juga itu juga hampir
They
habis hampir
do
3
not-
siap sih. Sudah hafal.
They do not, does not
soal sama
contribute
ini.
very much. So in the universities, I'm very happy we had a long list of academic journal articles. And then you say, well, okay, did you improve the life of the students in the schools? Did they improve student learning? And the answer then is probably not. And I am not interested in that research. And I have never been interested in that research. And I could tell you several stories about that. And the third aspect of practitioner research is that there is a durable record. So, and I've given some examples. The durable record, I think primarily, first one, is that there's been a change in practice at the level. Has the research resulted in an improvement in practice? Has it resulted in an improvement in student learning or in how students do things? And the other thing that can be, there can be a durable record, a physical record. That is, for example, and I've given some examples there, the education, it would be maybe a curriculum doc. In music, if you're doing practitioner research in music, you could be generating a musical score. Or if you're doing practitioner research in architecture, you could have a model or build drawings. Which is very different to if you were doing traditional research. For example, about music. Like a thesis about music. But would they produce a new piece of music? No. A practitioner produced a musical score and an explanation, a scholarly explanation about why they did the musical score. See the difference? One produces a thesis, the other produces a musical score and the music. And for me, this is more valuable than just having a thesis about music. I like classical music. I spoke to the barista today when I took some coffee shop in Georgia. He studied German here at this university. And I chatted to him about the famous German composer. And Beethoven, if you're doing research in the spirit of Beethoven, he would produce the symphony and an explanation, a written explanation about why he used that classical piece of music. Okay, good. All right. Now let us turn to some characteristics of practitioner research. It's collaborative. It's working with the university, the local community to produce an improvement. So there's the practitioner and the community, there's the university and the organisation. The research is explicitly linked to action, to improvement. And you think about traditional research in university, it's not explicitly linked. There may be something, but it's not explicit. It's not part of the DNA of the research. But for practitioner research, action, improvement is part of the DNA of the research project. And I think this is very, very significant. The practitioner is also very concerned about the stakeholders. And for most of us, it would be the students and our colleagues in the educational organisation. Well, the organisation could be, for example, you are working in a school, obviously it's your colleagues on the staff. If you were working in the district education office, it could be your colleagues in the office. Education officers would be working with school principals. So your organisation, you will be identifying who are people who are going to be active, or who are the people I need to work with to achieve the objectives of the research project. And part of what we're doing practitioner research is identifying the stakeholders and what their needs and interests are. The other thing about practitioner research is that we should explicitly acknowledge the challenges. So, for example, you are a teacher in a remote school. One of the problems is, for example, money. One of the problems is that part of the time the students need to spend time helping their parents on the farm, so they will not come to school. I did a project in Laos at harvest time, and when they plant for the harvest, students do not come to school. Because for them, the priority is food. So they need to help their parents on the farm. And practitioner research would say, oh, okay, that is the priority of the people I work with. So I need to adjust. Because we are very conscious of the needs of the local community that we are working with. We are researching on, and we need to accommodate the lived reality of the people we work with. The other thing that I think is very important, practitioner research, even if the project fails, we can still learn a lot about the project aims. Now think for a moment about aviation. Aviation is a very good one to think about. When we had recently had a plane crash in India. Great advances in aviation safety and come because of the analysis of the failures and being explicit about the shortcomings. And we think of any industry,
HP di sini.
any
Laptopnya
activity,
nggak
one
kirim-kirim,
society.
ternyata pas ke area luar sana,
Aviation is
terus
one,
nggak
I
masuk
think,
dari
that
dalam sini.
provides a
Wifi-nya
very
itu
good
hilang,
model.
jadi aku masuk lagi buat ngirim.
Because when you think about safety now, we never think about it. It is safer to get on the plane and fly than it is to drive to the airport.
Aku pernah masuk dari sini, nggak enak.
Why?
Semuanya pada ngantri di
Because
depan.
every time there was a failure, crash,
Yang anak-anak udah
some
ambil
kind of
ijazah itu,
problem happening,
fotokopi ijazah.
there was systematic analysis of events.
Ada lagi kita tuh fotokopi
In order to
jauh di
improve
masjid. Aku biasanya
practice,
depan masjid itu
Not
sama juga.
not to
Habis
write an
satu
academic
kali
theory
bimbingan tuh
paper,
50.000, kadang 100.000.
but to improve safety for the next
Aku nggak
time.
siap kan datang itu harus
And
print.
aviation
Aku bilang
safety
nge-print
is a
dari
very
500
good
yang
model.
di-print dari bab 1
It's a
sampai ke
model
bab
that we
berapa.
should
Nggak ada
follow in
kelamaan yang
education.
print. Ujungnya Bu Nah,
It should be
itu
basic
notebooknya
practice
buang-buang di
of
bawah kalau
failures of past
nah
so that we
rata-rata
can
pakai tablet
improve
aja 7.000
practice
ini
for the
mumet
future.
kan bocor nih kata di kadang.
So practitioner research is happy when failures happen. That is bad, but we can learn from the failures. But the question for us as educators is, do we learn from the failures of the past? And my view, and I'll ask some of you, my view is that we're not good at learning from failures. And I'll give you an example in Australia. People in the central office of education have great ideas, and they roll out the new idea. And by the time it goes down to the teacher in the classroom, people over here have come up with a new idea.
Yang bagian ini.
And the people over here, they haven't had a chance to implement the old idea, and they're being told to do a new idea. Now, I don't know whether that's a problem in Indonesia, but you can speak in Australia. Please keep your view.
Sebenarnya permasalahan mirip-mirip juga dengan Australia bahwa pendidikan kita itu nggak maju-maju, seringkali ganti pimpinan, ya ganti hal yang lain lah. Contoh yang menteri kemarin itu adalah Merdeka Belajar ya, lalu dari diderivasi membuat konsep cara mengajar, format-formatnya. Sekarang diganti di learning. Nanti juga seperti itu sampai pada rencana sekolahnya yang ikuti job learning. Akhirnya lalu sekolah itu hanya mengikuti aja, tapi nggak maju-maju. Itu persis sekarang ini juga itu terus saya miskin karena definisinya nggak jelas, itu dia mampu apa definisinya itu tidak ada baca ya, yang menurut dia loh nanti adalah sampai itu menjauhi learning, kemudian yang kedua adalah mind to learning, kemudian yang ketiga apa tentang apa feeling to learning. Apakah itu di bawah definisi di learning? Itu apa dia ini itu bolos itu. Tapi ya nggak apa-apa, kalau saya nggak mau ngapa saya nggak bisa apa-apa sih. Tapi apa yang disampaikan Pak Dewi tadi, begini saya ringkas saja. Practitioner itu penelitian yang dilakukan oleh praktisi. Sebut saja Anda kepala sekolah ikut kuliah di sini ya. Ya Anda melakukan penelitian di itu. Anda sebagai practitioner. Lalu sekolahnya itu disebut oleh Pak Dewi organisasi namanya. Jadi Anda itu melakukan practitioner research. Anda sebagai kepala sekolah atau guru meneliti di tempatmu sendiri, di sekolahmu sendiri yang namanya disebut organisasi itu. Kemudian ya kerjasama dengan orang perguruan tinggi gitu. Ya, Sehingga lalu 3 serangkai tadi universitas, praksi, gurunya yang melakukan penelitian, kemudian dengan organisasi tetap berjalan, Anda melakukan penelitian, tapi intinya itu ada tindakan dan harus ada perbaikan. Bukan menghasilkan zona-zona paper-paper akademik yang kemudian yang mana kontribusinya terhadap perbaikan ketiga zona-zona yang ditulis di Scopus itu memperbaiki pendidikan negara kita. Ya, secara umum saya lihat hanya di Scopus saja itu. Tapi beberapa orang yang membaca Scopus yang dipilih itu malah nggak pernah membaca yang dipilih itu. Ya kan? Ya, Anda teliti banyak di daerah Kabupaten Sleman. Tentu orang Sleman membaca. Karena ada tulis di jurnal Scopus yang saya lihat malah orang Bangladesh yang baca. Jadi intinya apa penelitian ini berkontribusi terhadap pendidikan sang peneliti itu sendiri, lalu tempat yang teliti, kalau itu menghasilkan ilmu namanya bukan academic knowledge, tapi professional knowledge, yaitu ilmu yang memperbaiki ilmu tapi ilmu yang praktis. Bukan akademik paper, saya pikir itu adalah sebenarnya guys.
Minggu lalu Bu, tapi jadwalnya baru keluar sama masih adik yang jurusan berarti yang aku kan
This is the concept of practitioner research. Is we have the university, we have the organization, and the practitioner, the researcher. The organization, for example, as I gave said before, could school, it could be the district office, the provincial office, or the minister. Doing music, for example, it could be the music group of musicians. If you're doing architecture, it could be a design laboratory. And the university should look at itself as being the service, the bantu, to help the practitioner and the organization to improve this. Which, if you think about, is a different way of thinking than the traditional university approach. Traditional university approach is the student comes to the university and enrolls in the university and does research. Could be very valuable. But if there is not the priority to include the organization or the practitioner's practice. So there's a change in university. First of all, change in the way of thinking. So, for example, when I first met Bart Slummond was because three people who worked in the ministry in Jakarta rolled to do a PhD at RMIT University. We could do a PhD by project. And I said, no, don't come to Australia. You can continue to do your PhD in Indonesia because we are interested in improving practice. I don't know how you will improve if you come to Australia. But you stay in your place of work, the ministry, and you do your project in the reality, in your reality, not my reality. And we will, myself and my colleague, come from Melbourne every couple of months to see make handle progress. And of course, we communicated online. But we want you to continue to live in your reality, dealing with your issues, dealing with your challenges, dealing with your objective. And my job is to be your servant so that you can improve the practice, your practice and the practice of your organisation. And fortunately, we had somebody like Slamet, who was on inside Indonesia to work regularly with the 3 students. And that is very different approach to doctoral research than somebody coming to Australia for 3 years doctoral research. I think this is very important. Yes, I would like to. Begini ya, bedanya penelitian practitioner research atau research by project atau practice based research dengan penelitian-penelitian yang selama ini yaitu adalah scientific research. Jadi kalau Anda yang ikuti yang lama ini kan ya sudah, nanti prodi kaprodi yang itu yang perlu diteliti ini, lalu kaprodinya setuju atau tidak, atau nanti pembimbingmu, promotormu setuju atau tidak. Nah, ini berbeda dengan itu. Kalau research by project ini dalam gambar ini penting sekali. Pertama, practitioner itu researcher, penelitinya. Kalau Anda dosen dari UIJ, maknanya Anda penelitinya, lalu peneliti di UIJ juga. Sebagai dosen yang Anda teliti apa? Terserah. Tetapi Anda meneliti di UIJ, practitioner research. Dan organisasinya apa ini? UIJ. Nah, dalam organisasi ini ada yang disebut dengan stakeholders. Apa yang disebut Pak BP? Stakeholders itu apa sih? Bahasa Indonesianya pemangku kepentingan. Tapi orang juga harus pemangku kepentingan itu apa? Pemangku kepentingan itu adalah siapa yang berpengaruh dan siapa yang kena pengaruh dalam organisasi itu. Contoh WG, siapa yang berpengaruh di WG? Rektor, dekan, direktur pasar sarjana, kaprodi. Lalu siapa yang pengaruh? Ya jelas itu mahasiswa. Kalau ada dampak keuangan ya orang tuanya juga. Itu namanya stakeholders pemangku kepentingan. Siapa yang berpengaruh dan siapa yang terkena pengaruh pada organisasi itu. Dan juga nanti setelah beda lagi gitu kan gitu. Nah, itu namanya organisasi. Nah, itu stakeholdersnya siapa ya? Ada mahasiswa, ada dosen, ada kaprodi, ada tata usaha, ada pendidikan, maksudnya ada mahasiswa kan gitu ya. Nah, lalu yang namanya unit CP itu peneliti practitioner supaya practitioner ini bisa melakukan penelitian dengan lebih baik sehingga dia akan lebih profesional, tempat kerjanya lebih baik dan juga berkontribusi apa yang disebut oleh Pak David adalah profesional knowledge, not disciplinary, not academic, but profesional knowledge. Profesional itu kalau disiplin knowledge kan pengembangan ilmu ya, gitu. Tapi kalau profesional knowledge itu memperbaiki, mengembangkan, memajukan ilmu-ilmu yang profesional, ilmu profesional lain dengan ilmu akademik. Makanya Anda menjadi kepala sekolah ya, Anda akan menjadi kepala sekolah yang lebih profesional, manajemennya, kepemimpinannya, kebijakannya, pengambilan keputusannya, itu berbeda dengan Anda sekarang mau tidak mau kan mengalir promotor, bukan begitu, kan kan? Nah, kalau penelitian, kalau practitioner research, research by project atau istilahnya practice based research itu berdasarkan reality, kenyataan. Jadi kenyataan itu yang harus diapakan. Kalau kenyataannya kurang bagus mutunya, kurang bagus relevansinya,
kurang bagus efisiensinya, kurang bagus pemerataannya, tadi ada yang bertanya, yaitu lalu setelah Anda teliti jadi lebih baik jika ada improvement pada organisasi yang kamu teliti, termasuk dirimu sendiri juga. Yang teliti bisa lebih baik, organisasi yang diteliti lebih baik. Nah, perguruan tinggi universitas itu membantu to help practitioner supaya penelitiannya bisa lebih bagus. Bukan ngarah-ngarahkan, tapi membantu gitu kan. Beda dengan kita sekarang. Karena yang diarah-arahkan promotor ya belum tentu kalau itu memperbaiki realitas, tapi Anda harus mengikuti promotor kan gitu. Kira-kira sorry, but I think that this is very important was one page, but the core of your speech. Okay, good.
And just to conclude this little section, the hardest universities have a long, proud tradition in your country, in my country, and I'm familiar with the Western approaches to knowledge and the role of university. But when it comes to practitioners, the hardest thing to change here is the concept inside the university. They have an important role, but a role that in one part for helping improvement, they need to change.
Ini masalah paling besar justru di universitas. Bagaimana yang selama ini menjadi mercusuar sama itu saya, tetapi ini perguruan tinggi ini universitas itu mampu membantu peneliti membaca realitas itu masalahnya apa? Itu tadi ada yang masalahnya motivasi mahasiswa lemah, ada yang motivasinya kurang kompeten, kan itu realitas yang harus diperbaiki. Karena hasil penelitian ini memperbaiki realitas. Tapi posisinya nanti kalau belum jelas sebelum selesai kuliah, sebelum selesai ceramah, betul-betul Anda tanyakan kepada Pak Denika dalam bahasa Inggris berapa kata saya itu kagum hari ini. Kok pinter bahasa Inggrisnya bagus-bagus gitu. Hampir di Inggris gitu. I mean, this bagus. Okay.
I'll just say one final thing, which is included in the presentation. Like Simon before talked about how the new minister comes and decides to do a new thing. I think the latest fashion now is deep learning. I don't really know what that is, but I am very old to it, so I have to learn. Last time it was something else. Time before it was, we're going to focus on vocational education or whatever. Practitioners and universities in particular do not have to salute the minister or the government. They are independent. I understand this university is autonomous. Just because somebody has a new idea doesn't mean that we all have to follow like we are soldiers. We are not the army. We are thinking independently. We live in a democracy. And universities can decide to take a look. Yes, that is the government policy. Yes, we can do this, but we are following this path over here. Just because one person has a new idea somewhere over there does not mean that we all have to just follow that path. The same thing in Australia. Just because the minister says we need to do one thing, does not necessarily mean that we all have to do it. When it comes to research and when it comes to education, universities are more experienced than the the Ministry of Education. And I think universities, for example, this university, should appreciate its independent power. And therefore it can follow the path of practitioner research without approval from the minister. Is that correct? Yes. No. So now there's a change. Or maybe it's just been time, right? Yeah, right. There's any difference in the way. Ini kan ya, paling besar tantangannya adalah mengubah cara berpikir universitas. Bagaimana supaya perguruan tinggi itu betul-betul memahami realitas dan realitas itu diteliti oleh sang peneliti namanya Profesor Research, sehingga lalu organisasi yang diteliti itu bisa baik. Sebenarnya itu berangkatnya. Bukan menurut perguruan tinggi, tidak, tapi realitas yang ada itu tantangannya apa? Banyak yang disampaikan oleh para mahasiswa. Nah, saya 20-an tahun di kementerian itu tantangannya satu adalah pemerataan nasional gitu. Wah, kalau nanti ngomong pemerataan bisa gabung lebar. Dan yang kedua mutu, wah mutu itu juga macam-macam, salah cacat itu kan salah satunya anti fasilitas, harus motivasi sejauh. Yang ketiga relevansi. Bagaimana pendidikan dengan kebutuhan siapa? Kebutuhan keluarga, kebutuhan masyarakat lokal, kebutuhan nasional, regional, bahkan internasional. Dan yang keempat adalah efisiensi. Lalu kita ngomong itu ya. Tapi kembali ke sini, kita sebelum istirahat itu, kita ini kan sering mengambil oleh kebijakan tidak. Coba menteri yang lalu itu adalah Merdeka Belajar, the past minister. Merdeka Belajar, learning independent, something like terjemahnya apa? Merdeka Belajar, independent, Merdeka Belajar, sekarang diganti deep learning. Saya mencatat ada 80 jenis learning. Ya, aku punya sudah satu ramadhan ini waktu itu. Tapi setidaknya coba, ini ada deep learning, ada soft high order thinking, yaitu kreativitas, inovasi, imajinasi, intensi dan seterusnya. Ada juga lalu mastery learning, ada enjoyable learning, ada deep learning, ada istilahnya project based learning. Learningnya itu ada 80. Kenapa hanya tidak deep learning? Itu saya itu nggak habis pikir, besok apa kami soal deep learning nggak penting ngomong seenaknya lalu para profesor pun pada mimpi merumus pak lalu isinya deep learning. Kenapa tidak disiplin dengan definisi?
Kan kalau ini mayoritas kan di kementerian dia banyak di Kemendikbud, jadi dia bisa mengkritisi.
Saya itu nggak jelas baca itu. Ini yang apa-apa dimasukkan di learning, enjoy learning, mindful learning, ada apa learning, dimasukkan
dari kurikulum Merdeka berganti ke sini.
Kan gitu ya? Ya kan? Kita harus punya critical thinking. Kenapa aku nggak bisa? Juga masalah aku memang tidak mungkin bisa menyenangkan semua orang. Tapi juga lulus ya, benar-benar ya, kan gitu ya. Saya pikir that is just adding humor gitu. More wrong, not correct. Apa yes, what I do. I think not a question. Ada pertanyaan mungkin? Yang di rumah masuk di Zoom. Zoom yang di Zoom dipersilakan bukan questions ya, any question ya.
Yes. Okay, then my name is Wulan. I'm a lecturer and student here.
Iya.
I will ask
Kementerian ini
two
mayoritas
questions, but I
S3-nya ke
try
jurusan
not
ini,
to complain about
pejabat-pejabatnya.
Indonesian system because everything here, everything you say is actually same with our vision, but the challenge in field is very complex. So the first question is practitioner research possible to be student thesis? You already explained your past student, I think you told us that there is a student from here not coming to Australia and do his project, but most of us it's not really dictionary yet. We just study in the degree to fulfill the requirement, not really have a meaningful experience in practitionership. Is it possible to do? And the practitioner research is very complex and demanding, I think. For example, we make a prototype. The resource and support we need is very comprehensive. We need money, we need people that really test our prototype, and we need to follow the rule of the institution that we work, and even for the ethics. Is it we have challenge in how to say, we need to criticize our institution. We need to expose the inside secret. Is it how to say, is it a good way to do this research? Is it in line with the ethics? And then we also have to deal with the time limit, even for annual national funding for ministry. We need to report everything only in 7 months. Is it possible to do that complex research? And what is the output of the practitioner research? Why I ask this, because my background is in education. When we do research in education, we cannot change everything. For example, I do the research for transdisciplinary creative pedagogy. We, as a team, find that we need to teach in high school, I mean, secondary or higher, to be transdisciplinary. But there is a, how to say, we call it KKNI, that XSC said that we cannot teach higher education in below with transdisciplinary perspective. Transdisciplinary appears only in doctoral. When we want to give recommendation about transdisciplinary pedagogy,
Bu El nanyain sudah di ruangan
conflict with the so we cannot check everything. We just do research, have a conclusion, but there is no change. That's the question that I think is very complex. And the second is, what is your view on this and development? I think it's very near with research and development. And I need to say that this type of research is very popular in Indonesia. So almost all I mean for research and development. But some I have heard that some theorists the how to say didn't agree that development included in research. Development is not research. What your view of this conversation? Yeah.
Thank you for your question or questions.
But one so long questions.
Okay, so let me just cover a key issue that you raised is about the university has rules and we kind of have to follow it. Maybe. All I can say to start is that
Dia nanya
I did my
apakah
own
sudah di
PhD by
ruangan. Iya,
project.
kami sudah di ruangan.
Fortunately, at MIT, where I did my recent doctoral work, you can do masters and PhD in a number of different ways. The traditional way is by thesis, a master's thesis or a PhD thesis. Most students do by thesis. You can also do a PhD and master's by project. And it's the same PhD. I have a PhD, I happen to do it by project. In an organisation. And the objectives are very clear. That as a curriculum, the project is much clearer. When you look at the regulations for PhD, they just list what should the thesis look like. But it's not an educational document, it's a pro forma. You need instruction, you need literature review, you need this. When you look at the document for a PhD project, they list the learning objectives. So it is a proper curriculum document in terms of the regulations. So it's a more skilled practitioner out there. You need to make a contribution to knowledge, scholarly and professional, and there needs to be a durable record or a change in practice. Those are three things. Now, at RMIT University, probably the best known and a school in university is in architecture. The School of Architecture at RMIT University was the best internationally known, had the best international reputation. 95% of the students postgraduate students in this architecture did their PhDs and masters by project. 95%. Because there was the university wrote the regulations so you could do your PhD by project or by thesis. And when you think about architecture, what is the point of writing this? Most architects are interested in design, activity, design rebuilding, making a model of an architect or whatever. The challenge is the real objective is to change practice. So how do you capture for the requirements of the university, the changing practice? In the school education up there, we have a PhD by project in education where the primary objective is not around more like building, but change in practicing reality. But you're correct, the university needs to change regulations, which is not difficult. Change the regulations to the different ones if you do a PhD or master's project. I'm sure universities change the regulations all the time.
Dipertanyakan yang melakukan pendidikan penelitian kalian kemajuan pendidikan. Kata anak-anak saya baru sadar dengan kita penelitian terus kembang ada perubahan kurikulum, ada kemajuan. Dapat kerja Kemdikbud tuh S3-nya di sini semua. Dari
criminology students, children in schools, indigenous populations, all considered vulnerable people, and all checks were we students that are sick and they had to be approved. So it is an issue. It is as long as people are aware that when you're working with like cities, where they are vulnerable, we need to be honest with that and have their identity, any other contribution. And then the second question, I think, the second one was about the surgeon development, and he mentioned some theorists people of change and development. But some people in RMIT used to say, for example, I'm a professor in engineering, a student in engineering, and the professor said, oh, we don't do that. I said, well, we do, because I'm on the academic board. The academic board has made a regulation PhD by project, and student engineering do it by project. And just like architecture they do it, they can do it. And it's not, you do not have the authority to say, we can do it. You can say, we don't have it. Or we can say, you do not experience with it, but you cannot say, you don't have the lab, because they are entitled by virtue of the university. So, my response is, I think there is a role for theoretical research. I think the role for research, for example, but in the field of education, most of the problems we have are applied. We know our students will apply much. We know which is practice. We don't need any more academic evidence to just what are the characteristics of good class. What are the characteristics of good class? Characteristics of what should we be doing teaching and when we should be doing group work. We know we don't need more evidence. We don't need more journals. The problem with education are very wide, and therefore any faculty in the university, one should be most interested in practitioner research would be education. Because all their faculty are not theoretical. There are problems associated with, okay, for example here, how do we improve learning outcome of students in small villages in Papua. What do we have? So the people in Laos, how do we improve the reality of their life if they need to take time from school to go to like how do we adapt for learning what we do day by day? Day by day. How do we do that? Well, one of the things is it's to spend 6 weeks a year planting and harvesting. There will be need to throw something down. But these are the girls, and we because we practitioner researchers, we are using the resources of the university to improve the lives of the poor in Papua and Laos, Australia. We are the mediators between university and the lives of the we, the practitioners, we are things like young people but for me, development is pretty particularly in the field of education. And education, I use education because education is the root of the future. We have great future. We are preparing the people. It is a very exciting. And every country and region one of the common things parents were on education. Education or something else. So they're very important things. Very important on everybody's first. Actually, there's one more okay, and we will continue after the okay. Yeah, this is problem. Oke, terima kasih. Ya. Bapak dan Ibu, baik mana atau punya Ibu dan yang dari rumah. Sorry.